pull them into a quiet room to talk, but they get spicy.
僕たちの物語を。リカちゃんの呪いを解きます。You pull Yuta into the room, the door softly closing behind them. Yuta looks at you, his brow furrowed slightly in concern. You smiles, stepping closer to him. Yuta's heart races as he instinctively takes a step back, only to realize the wall is now behind him. His eyes widen slightly as you rest your hands gently on his chest. Yuta swallows hard, his hands hovering awkwardly at his sides, before finally resting them lightly on your waist. His face flushes as he notices how close you are, your warmth almost overwhelming him. He leans in, kissing you with a tenderness that quickly deepens into something more passionate. His movements are hesitant at first, as though he's checking to see if you are okay with it. But as he responds, he grows more confident. You surprised as Yuta faint in front of you. You catch him. He passed out, his face red as hell. You tugs on Chozo's sleeve, motioning for him to follow you into the quiet room. He follows silently, his gaze curious but calm. Once inside, you turns to face him, standing close enough that the soft scent of your perfume fills his senses. Chozo steps closer, his tall frame towering over yours. His hand gently brushes your arm, his dark eyes locking with yours, filled with an intensity that makes your breath catch. He steps closer, leaving almost no space. His fingers ghost over your waist, his touch light but deliberate. He leans down, his lips close to your ear. Chozo tilts your chin up with his fingertips, his touch firm yet gentle. His thumb brushes along your jawline, and his eyes flicker to your lips before meeting your gaze again. Chozo happily comply and push you against the wall. He then crashes his lips on yours as your hand brushes his hair. Heavy breath fills the air. Nanami is so busy recently. Yes, so busy until he has no time for you. Right now, he is working for home, so you decided to get his attention. You pulls Nanami into a secluded room, the door closing softly behind. His brow furrows slightly, sensing the change in the atmosphere, but he doesn't question it. He's curious but remains composed, his usual professionalism evident in his stance. You step closer, a playful yet uncertain look in your eyes. Nanami notices, but before he can ask, he reaches for his tie, giving it a soft tug. His gaze darkens just slightly, his attention now fully on you. Nanami chuckles. He steps closer, his hand resting lightly on your waist, pulling you gently toward him. His fingers trace the curve of your side. Before you can respond, he leans down to kiss you, slow and deliberate. The kiss is deep, filled with a sense of longing but not rushed. He takes his time, savoring the moment, his hand moving to the back of your neck to deepen the kiss, drawing you even closer to him. You pulls Toji into a quiet, secluded room, the door clicking shut behind them. You turns to him with a serious expression, but Toji's gaze is anything but serious. He's already smirking, his presence overwhelming in the small space. He leans down slightly, his breath warm against your neck, his lips dangerously close to your ear as he whispers in a hushed tone. His free hand moves to the small of your back, pulling you flush against him. The heat between them intensifies as Toji's fingers trace a slow line along your waist. Zup! Toji pin you the door. It even caused a bang sound. He grins, looking at you up and down. You lift Toji's chin. He's surprised, seeing you being dominant. He grins, enjoying it in secret. He leans in, capturing your lips in a kiss that's both demanding and heated. His hands roam as he deepens the kiss. You pulls Inumaki into the quiet room, the door softly clicking behind. Inumaki's eyes widen slightly, and he stands still for a moment, his hands unconsciously fidgeting with the fabric of his shirt, unsure of what's about to happen. He looks at you, waiting for you to speak. Maybe Inumaki feels nervous because only both of you in the room. But the urge to kiss you, make you only remembers him, really fired him up. His hands slowly reach for yours, taking them gently in his thumb brushing over your fingers in an attempt to ground himself. His quiet intensity is evident, even without the use of his cursed speech. Inumaki bites his lip, still avoiding direct words, but looking at you with a mix of longing and uncertainty. He takes a step closer, gently pulling you into his arms, his head lowered slightly to avoid making direct eye contact, but still clearly wanting to get closer. He presses his forehead to yours, his warm breath mingling with yours as he finally leans in, kissing you softly but deeply. It's a kiss full of tenderness, as though he's pouring all his feelings into the moment. You pull Sukuna into the quiet room, the door closing behind with a soft thud. Sukuna stands tall, exuding his usual aura of authority and power. his eyes glowing with that familiar amusement as he watches you. You step closer, her body language confident, as you look up at him. Sukuna's expression hardens for a split second, the air around him thickening with tension. He doesn't like to be taken by surprise, but you know how to push his buttons. He steps forward, closing the space. His hands find your waist, pulling you towards him with a force that's almost possessive. With that, he kisses you. Deep, hard, and commanding. His hands move with purpose, caressing you with a certain intensity, as though he's claiming something he's not willing to share. He dominates you all by himself in the room, leaving marks all over you. Your knees weak, you've fallen into his arms. You pulls Megumi into the quiet room, shutting the door gently. He stands there, hands in his pockets, glancing around awkwardly. Your words make him blush deeper. He sighs, running a hand through his hair as he tries to keep his composure. But when you reaches out, your hand resting lightly on his chest, his resolve starts to crumble. He hesitates for a moment before gently catching your wrist. Megumi does not finish his word yet. And zup, you pull him for a kiss. He's surprised, but he closes his eyes and kisses you back. You pulls Yuji into the quiet room, closing the door behind them. Yuji looks around curiously, his expression a little confused. Yuji's face immediately flushes pink, and he scratches the back of his neck awkwardly. He tries to laugh it off, but the way you look at him makes his heart race. Realizing what he just said, Yuji groans and covers his face with his hands, clearly embarrassed. You chuckle softly, placing her hands over his to pull them down. He leans up slightly, her teasing smile making his heart pound. Yuji, unable to resist anymore, suddenly leans in, capturing your lips in a kiss that's soft yet filled with emotion. His hands tentatively rest on your waist as he deepens the kiss, his initial nervousness giving way to the genuine affection he feels. You pulls Geto into the quiet room, shutting the door behind them. Geto leans casually against the wall, arms crossed, watching you with a faint smirk. Gato chuckles softly, his dark eyes glinting with amusement. He straightens up, taking a step toward you, closing the distance. Before you can respond, Gato cups your face gently, brushing his thumb over your cheek as he closes the distance, pressing his lips to yours. The kiss is deliberate and slow, a mix of passion and restraint as if he's savoring the moment. You pulls Gojo into a quiet room, closing the door behind them. He raises an eyebrow, leaning casually against the wall with a cocky smirk. As you start explaining, Gojo watches you intently, his smirk softening into something more genuine. But when you step closer, your tone faltering slightly, he can't resist teasing you again. Gojo tilts his head, his signature grin returning as he gently brushes a strand of hair from your face. Before you can respond, Gojo leans in, capturing your lips in a kiss that's both teasing and passionate. He pulls back just enough to smirk down at you, his eyes glinting mischievously.